Hey everybody, it's Lindsay, and in this video I'm going to be comparing the Sonia Kashuk blending sponge to the Beauty Blender. I've gotten so much interest in this ever since I showed my foundation routine video where I used the Beauty Blender because I used to use the Sonia Kashuk blending sponge. So this is going to be my review. One thing I do want to say is I am done with school now. And yay, yes, I'm graduating. I'm walking on the 15th. I'm totally done. So I'm back home and life is completely crazy now. Between getting everything ready for the house, between planning everything for the wedding, we're getting married June 18th, and working, and I'm working too. So it's completely nuts. So I'm gonna do my best to keep uploading and filming videos on a regular schedule, but please be patient with me if I'm not. I'm just like gonna try and fit this in anywhere that I can, but I just have so many things going on. So I really appreciate all the well wishes that I've gotten, but so that's why if you don't see me uploading as regularly as I usually do, that's why. Just have a little bit of patience with me. This will be over in a little bit. So, all right, so back to the video. Sorry about that. All right, so for a long time I was using the Sonia Kashuk blending sponge. This one is great. I loved it. I raved about it. I did two videos on it, one reviewing it, one showing how I use it so long ago. I had it in a more recent favorites video, and then I got the Beauty Blender. The Sonia Kashuk blending sponge, this one is available at Target for $10. The Beauty Blender is from Sephora.com, or I think beautyblender.com you can get it, and this one is $20. I got it in a package with two Beauty Blenders and the blender cleanser, and I got this for $40. So definitely a price difference. I was curious to see if there was a quality difference, and I think there is, but I'll let you know what I think of them. So basically, if you're not at all familiar with these are sponges that you use to put on your foundation, whether it's liquid powder, you can use it for you know, setting powder, blush, cream blush, almost anything you want to put on your face, you can use it with this, and it's with either one of these, and they're great. If you have, if you want to see how I use them, I will link here my foundation routine where I use the Beauty Blender, and I'll show you how I use that with foundation. If you're curious about all the different products that you can use for them and how I show how to use all the different products, I actually do that with the Beauty Blender. That's my older video, and I will link that here. So if you want to go back, because I'm not going to go back through that all again. But basically the main idea of these are that you use them wet, and I just put them under the faucet. I just push whichever one I'm using under the faucet and run water over it. And I squeeze it like this. The Sonia Kashuk one is harder to tell when it's completely saturated because this one stays the same exact size, whereas the Beauty Blender, when it's wet, doubles in size. So you can tell right away when this one is saturated. This one, once you're squeezing it for a little while, you'll see it just continually to squish out water, and it's no longer absorbing water. So once they're at that point where they're completely saturated, you want to squeeze them out really hard, get all the water out, and then wring them in a towel and squeeze it even a little bit more, because you don't want them dripping wet, you just want them damp. And the purpose of that is because it gives you an amazing finish on your foundation, and it also, it's a big sponge. So if you used it dry, it's going to absorb a lot more of your foundation than if it's already filled with water or slightly damp. Then it's not going to absorb nearly as much of your foundation. So initial reactions, the Sonia Kashuk sponge is much denser. The Beauty Blender is much squishier. This one just is much denser. They're definitely made of different materials. I mean, pretty similar, but this one's definitely denser. And just look, this one looks, the pores to be a little larger, a little more porous. This one's finer. So I used this one for a long time and loved it. And I still do recommend this one. I'll just like get it out of the way. If budget is a concern, if you don't feel like spending $20 or $40 for the, two of these plus the cleanser, I would definitely get the Sonia Kashuk one. This one is great. It's cheaper, and I have not tried it, but I believe the Ulta one, I think it's purple, is even less expensive than this one. I think it's $5. So I haven't tried that one, but you could even try that one. So if you just don't see yourself spending the money for the Beauty Blender, the Sonia Kashuk one is a great alternative. So I'm glad I can say that I'm not just, I don't have to be like, no, this is the only one that you can get and it's 20 bucks. So, because that is a lot of money, but for the way that it finishes my makeup, I think it's so worth it. I cannot see myself using a brush again, or my fingers. I've tried so many different things, and nothing gets me the application of these two brushes, or these two sponges, I'm sorry. So the reason I got the Beauty Blender to begin with is because I was using this one for a long time. I used it a long time ago when I filmed those first videos, and then I stopped using it for a while. I tried some other brushes, I tried going back to my fingers, and I was doing that for a while. And then I pulled this one back out and realized, wow, why did I stop using this? Because this one is so good. But I find this one hard to clean, and I didn't have a special cleanser for it. I was just using face wash. Whatever I washed my face with, I would use this, and I would just kind of squish the face wash into it when it's wet and really kind of like push it around, and then when you would squeeze it under the water, foundation would just run out of it. So that's one problem that I see with this one. The Sonia Kashuk sponge really is harder to clean, and it holds a lot more foundation deep inside, and it's dirty on the bottom because I used it a couple days ago, and I haven't cleaned it since. But to get it perfectly clean, you almost destroy it. So a while ago, while I was cleaning this one, as you can see like when I push there, you can see how it bulges. While I was trying to get the foundation out of it, it kind of like separated inside. So I was like, all right, you know, it's time to replace this one anyway. I'm gonna go ahead and try the Beauty Blender. I get a bunch of questions of how often I wash my sponges. I wash them every 3-4 uses. I feel like I don't have breakouts from, you know, bacteria building up in these. I haven't experienced that. If you have really sensitive skin or are very sensitive to that, maybe you would want to wash yours every time. But I feel like washing it every time is going to make it break down a lot quicker, and they won't last as long that way. So once this one got like this, I was like, all right, time to try this one. So then I got this one, the Beauty Blender, and it's actually a little bit smaller than this. I used this morning, so it's still a teensy bit damp. But it actually becomes smaller than this when used, and you can tell it's like completely dirty because I just used it this morning. But it does get twice its original size when wet. Ooh, sorry about that, cell phone going off. And this one is just much softer. And the reason that I prefer the Beauty Blender over the Sonia Kashuk is because of the softness. When it is wet here, and you know what, I'm gonna actually make it wet to show you. Okay, so now I made it wet, and you can see how much bigger it is. You can see compared to the blending sponge, this one's much bigger, and then it gets even softer when it's wet. So the reason I like this one better is because of that softness. You have an even more flawless application. The reason these sponges are so good is that you don't have an edge. If you're working with one of those wedge-shaped sponges or a circle sponge or something, there's an edge to it. So in application, there's a possibility for streaking. You're gonna have to work it in a little bit more. With these, there's no edges, so you get an awesome application with it. This one, since it's even softer, I put my foundation on the back of my hand, and when I press it in, it gets more evenly distributed over the base of it. And then when I go to push it on my face, I just kind of like stipple it and roll it a little bit, and it just covers so much more area. It's so much easier to blend. I don't have to dab it as much. This one, because it's stiffer and it doesn't change shape or consistency at all when it's wet, it's just wet then, you have to stipple it a lot more because it doesn't spread out the same way. Like you can see, like this one just sinks into my skin. If I was gonna do that, I would have to push so hard. And this one is nice because the Beauty Blender is nice because it doesn't have any ridges like this at all. You know, if I see that my makeup is maybe looking a little too heavy on an area, I'll just roll it like this and it lifts it up. Like this one's just so nice for what you can do with it. I love the little point for getting around my eyes. Like this one is nice too, but since it's a little bit stiffer, it's just a little bit harder to get in areas. Like I love how soft the Beauty Blender is for getting around my eyes. I'll use the base, and if you can see in my foundation routine, I kind of squish it between my eyes, and it's so easy because it's so soft. I can just push it in there, and then to get in here, I just take that little point and like push it in there. With this, I would not, it would almost kind of hurt a little bit to try and press that in my eyes just because it's more stiff. So that's basically the biggest reason that I like this one better, is because it's so soft and it's just so easy to work with. I can just like push it all around, and it's easier. It takes less time, it takes less work to get an even application. Now a few days ago I did a little test because I wanted to see how they apply, and I did the left side of my face with the Sonia Kashuk sponge and the right side of my face with the Beauty Blender, and to be honest, I really couldn't tell a difference. So if your budget won't allow for the Beauty Blender, you're not interested in the Beauty Blender, but you want to try something, definitely try the Sonia Kashuk. And in fact, I might even recommend trying this one first if you're not sure about what you're going to think about a sponge. If you're used to using your fingers, if you're used to using a sponge or a brush or something, maybe try for the cheaper one first. And if you realize you like this, once this one wears out, then you might want to try the Beauty Blender. Just another option. So I got the blender cleanser with this one. It has kind of like a lavender smell. It smells so good. I love it. It's kind of that aromatherapy smell. And it's a little bit dirty in here, but you just press on this top here and a little bit of cleanser comes out, and then I dab it in like this, run it under the water, and before I run it under the water, I really work that soap in there to get it in there, and then I can clean it out. And I usually do soap and rinse it about twice, and then it's almost completely clean. So I do like the blender cleanser. I do think it really removes the makeup from this well. I don't know if I'll repurchase this when it's done. I know Makeup by Tiffany D just did a video and she uses just regular facial cleanser. I think it's the Neutrogena Naturals one, and she really likes that for it. So I'm sure I'll try something like that since this one is pretty pricey. But for that, the reason I think another reason why I like this one better is because it's easier to clean, in my opinion, so it's gonna last longer. This one, I don't know if you're here, yeah, you can tell. There's like, you can see where there's like little holes and things like that, where little rips, because of cleaning it, it's kind of hard to clean it out, so it would just get damaged pretty easily, which is gonna affect your application when you have like bigger holes and things like that. Not a lot, but it's just gonna break down faster. So I haven't had this one as long as I've had this one, but I have used this every single day since I've gotten it. I don't use anything else, and I don't notice any difference. No large holes in the bottom. I'm sorry it's dirty, but I mean, it has totally held up. So I think this is gonna hold up a lot better than the Sonia Kashuk one. So I think that's it. I use them the same way. I use them for the same thing, but I think from now on I'm gonna keep buying the Beauty Blender unless I really decide that it's just not worth it. But I'm sorry this is so long. I just wanted to explain everything because I know I'm probably gonna forget things and I'll get questions about things, but I had a lot of you had a lot of questions about these and what you should do. So I'm excited that I like both of them and that I can recommend both of them, because there is a big price difference, and I want you guys to be able to get whatever you can afford and be happy with it and not think, oh no, you know, I have to settle because my budget won't allow for something, which in this case you really don't. I do like the Beauty Blender better, but the Sonia Kashuk one is still a great sponge, will give you amazing application. They're both great. It's just kind of your preference, I think, and what you want and what you're starting out at. So let me know what you think. If you've tried either one of these, if you tried the Ulta one, let me know. And yeah, so that's basically it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I answered some of your questions, and if you have any other questions, please feel free to ask, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya.